All right. All right, we take another stab at this. What do we have? I think it was, somebody down here was saying they wanted to make a motion on it. Wasn't that where we ended last time? Yeah. Mr. Vogler, wrong end.
All right, if we have to reconsider part of this, the hunts up along the Idaho border are, the elk move into Idaho. And so we already eliminated the mid hunt in the 072 to 075. I move that we leave the early and the late hunts in those units the same.
The early was extended to the 1st through the 20th.
Yes.
Okay. And that was moved, that was already, unless we
And
want.
then the lates remain the same.
Okay. Okay, the first part we've already approved, the late, we haven't done with.
Yeah, I thought you moved that late hunt into December.
No, we haven't,
Okay, so the late is good, the early will remain, and the mid is already gone. Is that correct?
the early is now 1st through the 20th.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we keep those the same.
All right, that was just approved from 7.2 to 7.5.
Okay, and then we need the 061 and the 062, early and late also.
And you want those to do what?
The 061, 06, 071s to remain as listed, as proposed.
Okay, you want the two seasons as proposed in what essentially is the first four lines of
Right.
41A1, okay?
Yes. That's my motion at this moment.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 061, 071, early and late, 062, 064, 066, 068, early and late, as proposed by the department. Mr. Cavan seconded that motion. Everybody understand the motion on the table? All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Continue. You're on a roll. We have a yes. Oh.
081 also?
Okay, and continuing down the list, our next thing would be 072 to 075 late.
I thought we'd already left late there.
I don't think the late was included in the motion. We didn't include that in the motion, but it could be in your motion.
Okay, I would like to move that 072 through 079 remain the same.
Okay, so the two hunts, 072, 075 late, 06, 076, 077, 079, that hunt
Right,
remain the same.
right.
Okay, those two. All right. That's a motion, been seconded. We're talking about those two hunts, two hunt groups there. Does everybody understand that? All in favor of that signify by stating aye. All opposed? Motion passed 8-0. Okay. Now we're at 078, 104A, 105, 10 to 107. A new hunt. Go ahead.
No,
He's on a roll down here. He's on a roll. It's on that good of a roll. He's trying to figure out his wording, I think.
Okay, I move that, as recommended, we do 104 through 108. No, we already did those, excuse me.
Not
On the wrong
104,
line.
108.
078 to 104, 105, and 107.
Okay. Okay, properly moved and seconded for that hunt group. Does everybody understand that hunt group? All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, next. One at a time, that's what it takes.
081, as recommended.
Properly moved 081 as recommended. All, everybody understand the motion? All in favor signify by stating aye. Are we getting more complicated yet? Motion, continue. Mr. Gavin, do you have something? Okay. Oh, 104C. And then there would be the very last two. .222 late.
Second.
It's again properly moved and seconded. Do we have any amendments to that motion? Anybody understand that motion? To approve that whole next block, 104C, 108D, 121, starting there all the way down to 222 late as proposed. Does everybody understand the motion? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Excuse me.
Oh, wait, excuse me. That was an
I'm
excuse
sorry.
me. Excuse me.
I have heartburn with the early hunts on those because a bunch of those, if we do have open weather, and usually 4 out of 5 years we do, they're pretty brushed up. The late hunts are in line.
All right, I'm looking for a motion to amend the motion then.
I would amend the motion that we remain with the late hunts in those units
As proposed.
as proposed.
And
Eliminate the early hunts.
in which units exactly?
Well, it'd be 111, 112 early.
Okay,
It'd be 113 early,
okay,
114, 115 early,
okay,
and 161, 164 early.
okay.
To take those out.
Okay, that's,
Put them in the late, put them all in the late.
okay. We have a question on that amendment?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we just talked about that on the other one, saying December the 5th to January 5th was too late because of weather, and we didn't want to have those late hunts, and now we're putting them back in here.
No, move those early hunts into the late hunts. I'm in favor of the late hunts. It's the early hunts that, it's just the opposite problem. You get up in Elko County and some of that open country, those elk are pretty high, and when they come out, they go into Idaho. Whereas a lot of the mountain ranges in White Pine County, they're brushed up, they're tight, and they're high. And in an early hunt, if you have real warm weather, you practically have to step on them to shoot them.
What were they last year? What dates were last year?
About the same, I think.
There was some
We
early.
didn't have any.
there
Last
was-
year, we didn't have any in late December
No,
into
no,
January.
those December hunts in the 111s are much more favorable for this year after the last bull season.
All right, did you want, just to check that motion, on the late seasons, you wanted to leave them December 5th through January 1st? Or do you
Yes.
want to make that January 5th? 'Cause I know-
January 5th's fine, yeah.
I just want to make sure what your motion was,
My motion would be to leave all the lates as is,
which is January 1st.
January, or
I thought you-
December, the December through January.
Okay, December 5th through January 1st. It wasn't December 1st, 5th through January 5th. I'm just trying to think what I heard earlier.
That would coincide with the other ones?
I'm just trying to figure out what I heard in the motion, so I'm clear. I just got to clarify his amendment to the motion.
December 5th through January 1 on all of
Okay.
those late hunts to remain as recommended.
Okay, and we're striking 111, 112 early, 113 early, 114, 115 early, 160, 164, 164 early, leaving those all as late as is. Okay, that's the motion.
Yes.
That's the motion to amend the motion.
Yes.
Okay, does everybody understand the amendment? Question on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, did you leave out 108, 131 early? I didn't hear you mention that.
Was 108, 131 early stricken as well, or was that left in, or how do we deal with 108, 131 early?
I believe that was part of his motion.
Oops, it was,
is.
it was, okay, my mistake, thank you for that correction.
And now, he's just going down through 222 late.
Through
Am I
222 late is the end of the main motion. He is amending the main motion. The main motion was to go through 222 late and deal with the others later. So so he is amending it so that the main motion would then read, approve everything in that brackets between where it starts at 104C all the way down to 222 late, with the exceptions of striking the first, let's see, 104, the one that starts at 108E early, 111, 112 early, 113 early, 114, 115 early, 160, 164 early.
What about 221 and 222?
Did you want to deal with 221, 222, or you want to leave them the same, or?
No, I'd rather have someone that's more familiar with that area make those
Okay,
motions.
so that's, we have the amendment to the motion that states that. I'm waiting on a second to the amendment so we can discuss it, now that we're clear on it.
I'm just going to look it up on the map right now. Yeah,
You
that,
want a second for the first? No.
Discussion.
To discuss it, we got to have a second.
no.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded by Mr. Howell on this amendment. Yes, question on the amendment? Comment on the amendment?
Commissioner Vogler does not have the 161, 164 early in his motion. Is that the way you read it?
Let me check with him.
161 through 164 is not, I have no knowledge of those areas.
Okay,
I
that
didn't
was
wanna
not
make a
part of
motion
his.
on that.
That was my mistake. So we're simply, there are then 4 units that were stricken for the early seasons.
Right.
Starts at 108, 111, 113, and 114. Those are the 4 that would be stricken.
Right.
Okay, okay. We're good. Go ahead, Mr. Capurro.
Okay, my concern is that if you're going to approve down through 222 late, if we adopt the amendment and then adopt the main motion down to 222 late, do we preclude coming back to 221 early and 222 early?
Unless there was, let's see, if you liked his amendment, we could go ahead and approve his amendment, and then you could make another amendment to deal with
Okay,
221, 222 before we vote on the main motion.
okay.
How about that? Trying to get this done. Okay, so we have a motion, second on the floor. Does everybody understand the motion to amend the main motion? All in favor of that motion, go ahead and signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, let's do the nays by raise of hands. Okay, I think, okay, we had Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Cavan. With the nays, there were 5, the rest of the other 5 were ayes. So the motion stands amended. And now you had another motion to amend?
Well, I'll try it. You think we ought to deal with 161 to 164 early?
Okay?
221 early and 222 early should be stricken.
Okay, that's a motion to amend.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we now have a motion to amend the main motion to strike those 3 early hunts, which are 161, 164, 221 early, 222 early. And make that as the only changes. Does everybody understand? Okay, question on that motion to amend the main motion?
Okay, I'm familiar with this country, and the problem I see with that is that, first of all, you have to understand that both 221 and 222 are in wilderness areas, and actually those cows are right down on the benches of Grafton on the 222 side, both sides of the benches of Grafton on the 222 side, and I mean, they're all over the mountain, actually. But the most accessible piece for the hunters is going to be on those benches. And then on the 221 side, probably the same thing. So I'm not sure if that's going to accomplish your goal.
Okay. Anything else on the amendment to the motion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote on that amendment. Does everybody understand the amendment, or do I need to restate it? Everybody understand? Clear. All in favor of that amendment, please signify by raising your hand. Okay, Commissioner Vogler, Commissioner Lent, Commissioner Schrum, Howell, Capurro, in favor, opposed, Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Cavan. Motion to amend the motion passes. We now have a main motion which basically approves everything from 104C, 108D, 121. That approves that as stated, and then all of the late seasons between there and 222 late, only approving those late. But the one earlier season is the 104, starts 104C. Does everybody understand the main motion that is now to be voted upon? All right, all in favor of that main motion, raise your hand, please. Okay, all opposed? Okay. So, in favor of the motion, we have Commissioner Capurro, Commissioner Howell, Commissioner Lent, Commissioner Vogler. Huh? All right. Okay. Commissioner Capurro, Commissioner Howell, Commissioner Cavan, Commissioner Lent, Commissioner Vogler in favor. Opposed are Commissioner Schrum, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Macbeth. Motion passes. All right. Now we've got basically 2 units left, which is 231, 241, 242. We have early and late. Suggestion what had been to add 223 to that unit grouping. Have any motions on that? There's a motion to approve that as presented by the department. It's been properly moved to approve that as department with the correction of with the addition of 223, right? Correct? Okay. Does everybody understand that motion? All in favor signify by stating aye. All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. We didn't miss any unit groupings, did we? All right, I didn't think so. Okay, we are now at 4176. Ready for motion on 4176, which is the antlerless muzzleloader hunt. Let's see, and just refresh my own memory before we get voting. We had 2 additional units, and one of them was modified, was the 108, right? That was modified somehow? Or was that totally new? 108 to 130, so there was 3 new groupings. And everything else was basically the same as last year. So, favor of the commission. I guess, go ahead.
Thank
Had his
you,
hand
Mr.
up first.
Chairman. Move to approve muzzleloader hunt 4176 as presented by the department, adding 223 to the 231, 241, 242 hunt.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second on the floor. Everybody understand that motion? Was that amendment or anything, or no? Okay. Comment on the item? Okay.
Yeah, I'll vote against it because I don't see adding any more to this because we added 3 units as it is, so I'll vote.
Oh, okay, got it. Any further? Okay, all in favor of this motion signify by stating aye. All opposed? Okay, just to clarify, we had the 2 nays, right? Wait a minute, let me do this by raise a show of hands. All in favor, raise your hand, please. All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Commissioner Capurro, Commissioner Howell, Commissioner Lent voting in opposition to the motion. The other 5 voting in favor. It passes. All right, let's move on to 4111, antlerless longbow archery hunt. That one we had, again, 3 new unit groupings. Let's see. Did I miss anything on that? And some changes. The what? Oh, 223 would be the same situation as muzzleloader if somebody chose to make that motion. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman.
Wallace.
Move to approve resident elk antlerless longbow archery hunt 4111 as presented by the department with the addition of 223 to the hunt, 231, 241, 242.
Second.
Everybody understand the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, better do that show of hands just for clarity. Ayes again? Hands? Okay, opposed? Okay, Commissioner Schrum, are we an aye or a nay? Okay. Okay, so we have one no. Okay, so the ayes, we have the ayes. The ayes, we have Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Vogler, Commissioner Cavan. Opposed, we have Commissioner Lent, Commissioner Howell, Commissioner Capurro. Motion passes. Okay. And we had Commissioner Schrum declined, had briefly left the room. That's bad humor, sorry. Declined to vote. And let's see, now, the good news is we're done with elk. And also good news is this is sheep. Sheep is easy. So, department on, well, actually, if we could go over bighorn sheep, all the subspecies, and the mountain goat, please.
Nelson Desert Bighorn Sheep, 3151. We've pulled out,
Just speak up as loud as you can, thank you.
all right. The Nelson Desert Bighorn Sheep, 3151. We've pulled out units 131 and 164 to make it clear to the applicants and the hunters of the special guidelines for that hunt because of the Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep that have been previously observed and harvested in that unit with that primary desert bighorn herd. So we have harvested likely Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep in the past, but overall, the majority of that herd is desert. So for purposes of application, eligibility, bonus points, and the harvest of the animal in terms of the NACs that cover those. It's still a desert bighorn sheep hunt. We just added the caveats in those footnotes so that people are clear. You can harvest a desert, any ram in that unit, regardless of what the DNA says. And for purposes of complying with NECs for checking your ram in and for bonus points, it will be considered a Nelson Bighorn. And just, we're asking hunters more formally now, although we would call them up and ask for a tissue sample from each and all rams, regardless of what they look like from a morphometric standpoint, just to keep track of what will transpire over the years of potential hybrid animals. And that just another note that we've had in our hunter advisories online is that a ram harvested out of this unit will likely, may not be accepted in formal trophy records. So it's a case by case. So that's just pulled out and just made separate. The rest of the Nelson Desert Bighorn 3151 hunts are as listed, and no changes from last year. The non-resident Desert Bighorn 3251, we've had a need for some years to expand a few more non-resident hunts to accommodate the statewide 90% resident, 10% non-resident split. So we've added a few more unit groups, and what we did this year was try to use as many of the unit groups that have past quota of 5 tags or more, just trying to provide a little bit more justification that some of the bigger units with more tags, more rams, we'll try to make a non-resident hunt for that. So you can see those units added, and then we took away a few other units in the past that we've kind of randomly selected. California Bighorn Sheep 8151, the only change from last year is we've added unit 021, which is the Petersons. We have information now. Yeah, so we added 021, the Petersons, because we've got information of rams that have been pretty consistently seen in there. So that's both the Virginia Mountains and the Peterson Range. And everything else is the same. Non-resident is the same for California Bighorn. Rocky Mountain Bighorn, resident 9151. We've added one unit group, unit 115, which is the South Snake Range. And that's to accommodate mature rams that exist in that small herd that summers on the Great Basin National Park and winters on BLM lands. You can see the dates are a late hunt. We've been working with the Great Basin National Park for a few years. We've had marked rams and ewes in that herd, so we could clearly distinguish the time of the fall and winter that they're well below the park boundary to reduce any conflicts of hunters going after those rams. So we feel pretty confident that December 20th through February 20th would be a good, safe period for hunters to pursue those rams without any need or for any need to go beyond the park. And of course, You cannot, we didn't even go there to ask for the park to allow for hunting. That's bigger than any of us here today. Change the mandate of the National Park Service. No non-resident. We don't have enough tags to support non-resident season on any of our single Rocky Mountain Bighorn units. Resident mountain goat, 7151, as it has been, and 7251 hunt, a non-resident mountain goat as it has been.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike, on Hunt 8151, resident California, and 021, 022, are there any huntable sheep there, population?
Yes.
There are?
Yes.
Had another question on Hunt 9151, the Rocky Mountain. Now, there's been a good population of sheep there, but why didn't we hunt it last year? Utah hunted it last year.
The 091.
Pilot Peak.
Yeah, okay. Good. I'm glad you brought that up. Yep. We have an agreement every other year to share that tag or that season. And last year, well, it's been several years, finally, we've had mature rams detected, surveyed. So last year, Utah had the tag. Before the season started, we had a disease event that both Utah Division of Wildlife Resources and ourselves investigated. It was involving the water treatment facility in Utah, in Windover, East Windover, and we were monitoring also the sheep that utilize a guzzler in the Leppy Hills on the Nevada side, and we were monitoring some of the waters between the Leppy Hills and the Pilot Peak area, and a few of the waters in Pilot Peak. Utah collected 2 animals. Both were confirmed to have the normal pathogens that we've been finding in some of our recent disease events, both the bacteria of various species and mycoplasma.
Okay. So I'm just trying to, should probably have a report on the disease event, maybe at a later meeting.
Well,
when we
I
can talk
was
about
just,
some
I
of
was
it.
just saying that they all died off now, so we're not gonna ever get a hunt in there, right?
Well, there's been observations recently. In early January, there was 26 sheep seen at the Windover Cemetery, but they were ewes and young rams, like 2-year-old rams. But we have not seen any mature rams. And we surveyed, we conducted a co-state survey this last summer. We've had cameras on the waters, and the Utah hunter was successful killing a ram, but he was severely compromised in terms of his lungs. And since he has left the field, we have not had any credible observations of mature rams.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? We need to get public comment. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Then we'll have public comment.
On the 211 north and south, Mike, there's enough tags to have a non-resident in each of those?
Well, you have to understand that there's not a ton of tags in any sheep hunt, but there's a lot of tags. And really, there's only one that's over 10 tags. So since time began, we have always looked at the desert bighorn sheep as an entire unit group, if you will, statewide, in order to calculate the non-resident tags. So if we see that we're going to have 200 total desert bighorn sheep tags statewide, then we know we have to have 20 non-resident And then we make a decision of which units to put those tags into. And in the past, it's been somewhat random. You know, we give the non-residents a challenging hunt, a hunt that's got small bases, a hunt that's got big bases, and but now we've got some unit groups that are starting to get into the 5, 6, 7, 8 tag quota, and so we started picking the non-resident units out of those.
All right, let's move on to public comment on this issue. Let's see, I had a letter, probably the best commissioner got it from John Zenz. Was asking to have an extended desert bighorn sheep season, I believe for a 2-month season. Had some really good reasoning in there. We also have, let's see, that was the letter on sheep. We also have Churchill County, who's not here, I believe, had eliminate Unit 181, change season dates for Unit 184 to November 20th to December 20th, 184, which is okay. Let's see, Pershing here? No.
I'm here, but I didn't have any additional comments on
Okay, no additional comments. Eliminate Unit 205 South, move hunt to Unit 212. Other than that? Huh? Come on down. I'm just reading off what's here. Now, if cabs come up, anything on bighorn sheep
They want to change
and goat,
that season.
and or goat seasons.
I disagree with closing 205 South. Historically, when there's an augmentation, they remove sheep from that area to transplant them. I have a picture on my computer that's over 120 sheep standing at the watering hole at the Corona Guzzler, and I'll gladly share it with anyone. We have sheep to hunt.
Excellent. Thank you.
There was an error on this summary, so sorry to get Glenn excited, but it's good to see you come down here because you've been quiet all day. That was supposed to be the non-resident, the
Oh, non-resident.
3251.
Non-resident.
3251, yeah.
Eliminate the non-resident tag on 3251.
3251.
Got it. Okay. Good to have that clarification. Mr. Taberty, welcome back.
Thank you. This has to do with non-resident hunters. A lot of us have a tough time getting tags in the state in general for any species, and so a lot of us hunt out of state, and we appreciate the other states giving us opportunity. So I'd like to make sure that not only in these hunts, but in all hunts coming up, that we consider the non-residents, and I promote them and appreciate what they do, and ask that if there's rounding errors, we round in the favor of non-residents. I'm not looking for any more tags for them at this time, but I would like to make a point that we need to support our non-residents and welcome them to the state of Nevada as they welcome us to their states. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else on bighorn, any of the various bighorn sheep, subspecies, or mountain goat season dates? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing, move back to the commission. What do we have on this issue? Go ahead, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Yeah, I had a question on Mike here. On 184, we had 2 season lots, and why didn't we just make that into a late season instead of an early? We had a choice last year of 2 seasons, 184.
Yeah, so for the Desitoyas, we have a split season for the residents, as we had last year, to try to take advantage of some of the upper elevations. There's sheep at the down and bottom, top. But for the non-resident, which is recommended a single non-resident season, and I don't remember, we didn't have any really thought, we just threw in the early season dates for the non-residents. We don't have any
Wasn't last year that was split, where they could be early or late?
Yeah, yeah. Sort of said that we had the early late split last year. Again, we're gonna have it, recommending it for this year again, but non-resident, we added, because there's so many tags on that herd, we feel we should provide a non-resident opportunity. And it's your choice, really, if you want to make that non-resident opportunity early season or late season. Really up to you.
Okay. And just a clarification, I imagine you're already doing this, but on the hunts that are within the bombing range, I'm assuming that these season dates are as large as they can, as long a season as they can be, under the guidelines we're given. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've got agreements with,
So under the agreements we have, these can't be expanded. And if their dates change, we could actually see an expanded season if they give us more time. Is that?
yeah, I mean, currently, we are following the agreements.
Okay.
Maximum days.
I'd just like to throw that out there, that, you know, if it's possible to have it longer, it'd be great to have it longer, because there are relatively short seasons.
Right, right. We meet with them, and we can certainly ask for that to be discussed. But they have been very accommodating, and our
Yeah.
people who work with them, both on the south and north range, can tell you that it's, we should be very thankful for what we have today.
Oh, absolutely, especially the addition of 280 in recent years, yeah, and all that. But I just wanted to throw that out. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Cavan.
Just a quick question, Mike, on Rocky Mountain Bighorn, in Unit 074, would there be any issue with adding 072 to that? I've had a couple people ask me if, I guess there's some sheep right on the fringe there in 072 that are really part of that population.
We haven't been able to follow up ourselves on those personal observations that have been made by others, both numbers and timing. We've always known that Idaho has seasons on their side, but in terms of having a consistent distribution of sheep available for hunters on our side, we haven't been able to document it yet.
I'm not talking about another unit, just adding it to 074. Would there be an issue with just expanding the boundaries of that hunt versus, I see Ken's kind of.
Go ahead, Ken. Sometimes without really good information, you might force people to push the state line.
Yeah, Ken Gray, Department of Wildlife. We've gotten those rumors, and we've flown pretty intensely for elk and even bighorn sheep in contact, and we have not been able to substantiate those rams moving into 072. I mean, would it hurt anything? Probably not. I mean, to have that unit connected to it, but at the same time, people will ask, well, you've never really documented many sheep in there. Another problem we may have with it is sheep possibly along that Jarbidge River coming up from Idaho, and those are Californians, and there could be some issue with that. So I really don't know what you would buy at this time. We'll continue to monitor the situation, but
Yeah, as long as we're keeping track, that's fine.
All right, we ready for motion on the subject here? We got deer next, that'll probably take a couple minutes. So, motion, Commissioner Pearl.
I would move that we approve hunt number 3151 as proposed by the department.
Properly moved, second to approve 3151 as proposed by the department, second by Mr. Cavan. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I would move to, now that was the first, they're both got the hunt number 3151. So we taking separate votes on the two issues?
I was under the assumption your vote was for both of them, is that?
It was, but I wanted to
No problems with that anywhere up
clarify.
and down the line? Okay.
Okay, with respect to Hunt 3251, my concern is this, that obviously there are not a lot of numbers if you're taking the number of sheep tags and the fact that 10% of them are non-resident. But in this case, you've added 7 new hunts to 11 previous hunts. And I just question, what kind of distribution you're going to get and whether it warrants adding that many new hunts.
So your motion reflects that in the following way.
Well, I'd kind of like to see some, if anybody else has the same concerns.
I mean, certainly, there is that concern out there, we're gonna end up with just a whole bunch of units, I guess, with one person in it, or? It'd probably be a lot simpler, less paperwork, less things. Go ahead.
If he's looking at that, we're gonna need to distribute 20 non-resident tags. I have the same concern because in my home area there of 211, they've split that in two, and if you put a non-resident in each of those areas, I have a concern with that. But at the same time, if you knock 7 of those areas out, where are you gonna put them? So I don't know where to go with it, but I have that same concern with my home area, but due to his explanation, I don't know how else we're gonna do it.
Total quota was 192 total resident. 21 last year, non-resident.
That's a little over 1 tag per hunt.
Now, I guess the problem one could see in here is if there was some sort of an event where our numbers dropped off in an area or two, we'd suddenly have units with a quota of 0. So you want to eliminate a couple units to make sure that doesn't happen. Mr. Cavan?
Well, speaking from the hunters, when they get out there, I mean, if you end up with a unit that has a few tags in it, and if we don't have enough units to go around and we dump 2 non-residents in with 3 residents, let's say, those residents aren't going to be happy. So I think trying to get it to 1 non-resident per unit, which this will allow, seems to make a little more sense to me at the moment. But these things are kind of moving targets. But I think adding the units is good to just spread the non-residents around. They can pick and choose between all these units of, like somebody said, what they want, horn length or bases or time of year. So I think we need them.
Your motion. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Lant. Go ahead.
I agree, we don't need any new areas, so I'll try a motion here. For Hunt 3251, as department recommended, except eliminating 173, 181, 184, 211 north and south, 261 and 262.
All right. That's the motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve Hunt 3251, eliminating those 7 areas as just listed by Commissioner Lentz. Everybody understand that motion?
Huh?
It was,
I understand the motion, but I don't understand what we're doing. Why are we doing that?
Because the motion stated.
As the motion stated it.
In other words, are we going to put the same number of non-resident tags in these other units?
No,
That's what we did last
we have
time.
10% rule. We'll still have to follow 10% rule. Just distribute them
We
in the other
distribute-
areas as previously rather
Just
than
like we did last
a new
year.
distribution system. It should not affect non-resident quota by 0. Well, and that's another meeting.
The highest area we had last year was 3 tags. And we had 3 tags in 268 and 3 tags in 161.
So we didn't really have a lot of non-residents. 3 was the maximum non-residents we had in any area last year. Is there a reason to reduce that to 2 or 1? Okay, so that's the motion, that's the second. Comment on the motion.
Move to amend.
Motion to move that, to amend that motion.
3251, the non-resident Nelson Bighorn sheep hunt, as presented by the department with the exception of removing 205 south and 211 south.
205 south
That way you're only putting
and 211
one
south.
non-resident in each of those instead of doubling up and putting two non-residents in those units.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to amend the main motion by approving as by the department, striking 205 south and 211 south. Everybody understand that? Amendment to the main motion. Be voting on the amendment to the motion. All in favor of the amendment to the motion signify by raising your hand. Okay, we have Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Cavan. All opposed? Other 5 opposed. That amendment fails. Back to the main motion. Need to vote on the main motion, which is as approved by the department, striking those 7 new hunts as previously stated. Everybody understand that motion? All in favor of that motion signify by raising your hand. All opposed? Okay, the opposite of the last vote, we had just, the vote passes. Commissioner Cavan, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Macbeth opposed, the other 5 in favor. All right, now we're at 8151, California Bighorn Sheep.
Was that 205 south staying in? Was that what I got on that?
No.
It stayed in. 205 south did stay in, yes. But we really can't have.
Oh, yeah.
All right, California Bighorn Sheep, 8151. Do we have any issues? Motion, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve hunt 8151 as proposed by the department.
Second.
And moved, seconded by Commissioner Pearl, that 8151 be approved as proposed by the department. All in favor of that motion, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 8251. Go ahead.
Chairman, I'll make a motion on hunt 51. We approve it as presented by the department.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Lentz, seconded by Commissioner Cavan to approve 8251 as presented by the department. All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. 9151, or maybe you take all 3 of them at once. Your favor. Go ahead.
On a roll. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve hunt 9151, 7151, and 7251 as presented by the department.
Second.
Then moved by Commissioner Lentz, seconded by Commissioner Capurro to approve 9151, 7151, 7251 as proposed by the department. All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. We are at deer. Let's see if we can roll through these. We got time constraints. We got 2.5 hours, they tell us,
Beautiful.
and not for this item.
I'm going to take over for the record, Tony Wassley, starting with 1107. The only change we're looking at here is a slight adjustment in the season dates for any legal weapon. Last year, we had season dates of October 5 through November 2. The previous pleasure of the commission has been to incorporate the Nevada Day holiday, make sure we get that weekend. This year's dates are October 5 to October 31 in many of these areas, and that includes the Sunday associated with the Nevada Day holiday. That's the only change in the 1107. In the 1181, any legal weapon antlerless hunt, the department's recommending dropping the doe hunt from Area 6, dropping the antlerless hunt from 114, 115, and also from 114, and recommending a antlerless hunt in 043 through 046. 1101, any illegal weapon depredation hunt. 114, 115 as last year, no changes there. 1235, some slight changes here. A split in 043 through 046 from what last year was an October 5 to October 31 this year into an early and late hunt. A change in Area 10 hunt structure as well. Previously an early and late hunt, now divided into an early, mid, and late. The stated objective here by the biologist was to try to address potential hunter congestion issues, access issues. The first two hunts being approximately 2-week hunts, and the late hunt being approximately a 1-week hunt. A change in 181 through 184 in the season date. Last year it was October 5 through October 31. The county has expressed a desire to hunt a little bit later to try to increase hunter success with some animals that are difficult to access in that area. A change in 192 along with 194 and 196 is to eliminate the late season there due to some concerns over hunting in congested areas and some conflicts around the Reno, Carson areas with homeowners and developed areas. Also a change in 241 to 245, elimination of a late hunt. Previously there was an early and late split here from an October 5 to October 20 in the early and an October 21 to November 5 in the late. We're recommending a single season, October 5 to October 31, to address some of the concerns that have been voiced by the county over that late hunt. The changes in 1331 mimic those changes that I just articulated for 1235. Skipping to 1371, antlered muzzleloader hunt, resident and non-resident, no changes. 1341, resident, non-resident, antlered archery hunt. We have a couple changes. We've increased the 192 late season by 10 days. Also the 194, 196 late season 10 days, partly as a compensation for the loss of those late rifle hunts in there, trying to still provide some opportunity. And then the 201, 202, and 4 through 6 early has been combined for a new early hunt.
All right. Let's go with public comment on the issue of deer. And let's see here. Looks like everybody, let's see. Pershing, no, wait a minute, that's not mule deer. Let's see, white pine, no, let's see, white pine is here. Yes, they can sip the thing. Humboldt's here. Story recommended move general rifle season from November back to October. Move to take the season out of the rut, thus giving bucks a much better chance to mature. White Pine recommends late deer season unit groups 111, 115, 221, 223, 113 to 131 to 134, 121, 111, 114, 115. Be shortened 7-day season beginning October 30th and end on November 5th. Let's see, hunt 1341. Lincoln's here, they can talk about that. White Pine recommended new late archery season, Unit 121, season dates merit unit group, and 101 to 108 late archery season. Looks like that's about it on deer. You could have any of these cabs that came, present your positions, and any other public comment. Come on up. Lincoln has several, yeah.
For the record, Corey Ladd of Lincoln Cab. You'll see with our junior recommendations, they're going to mirror the 1341 recommendations in 221 through 223, 231, and then 230 or 241 through 245. We would like to see the archery hunt start August 8th instead of August 1st, particularly in 231 and area 23 and 24. You know, there's a lot of congestion in regard to a cow archery hunt that starts August 1. If you give those cow hunters a week to come in on their own and hunt without any other deer hunters in there interfering, it gives them a little bit better hunt. It gets them out of the way in some respects because they harvest, and it gives the archery deer hunters a good opportunity to come in with just a little bit less congestion for a better quality hunt. You know, it gives them another week for their antlers to grow. I've been battling that since we started the archery hunt August 1. There are no other western states that start their archery hunts August 1. We'd just like to see it start August 8th. The hunt's still a long hunt. It's a 29-day hunt if you start it August 8th, and we'd like to see that in our units. One other point I'd like to make out on that is there again in areas 23 and 24 is we have anywhere between 50 and 60 landowner deer tags that are sold in those units every year. And a good percentage of those gentlemen or people that buy the landowner tags come in and start hunting the archery hunt. So it adds that much more deer hunters in on those units. And so I think just a little bit of balance there would help the cow hunt along with the archery deer hunt.
Corey, what units are you talking about now?
It's 221 to 223, basically the Lincoln County units.
And
231, and then 241 through 245. You know, people still get to hunt 29 days. If you can't find hunter opportunity in 29 days, I don't know, there's an issue there.
All right, thank you. The public comment, come on up.
Thank you. Eric Sheets with Douglas Cab. Our cab agreed with everything that NDOW recommended, except for on hunt for 1341, we wanted to eliminate the archery there to be consistent with the rationale that's listed on page 2 from the NDOW rationale relating to hunter congestion in urban areas. And so we're just being consistent there. And,
Which unit?
it's 192, 194, 196.
192, 194, 196, eliminate. Which
Yeah,
one?
We left archery in there on the NDOW recommendation, but we're just saying be consistent and just take it all out on the late hunt.
Take it
But
all
I was
out.
wondering if that affected the quotas for archery. I don't want that to happen.
Excuse me. I didn't understand what you were saying. Would you say that again real clearly for me?
I'm saying in hunt 1341, the archery antlered mule deer hunt, to eliminate that.
What is?
192, 194, 196. Thank you.
Eliminate the late, leave the early.
Correct.
Okay.
Definitely. We don't want to lose the tags, or if that's going to...
Eliminate the
We're
two late
wondering
hunts
about
in
that.
191, or 192, 194, and 196.
Just be fair and consistent.
Okay. Got it. Public comment, come on up.
For the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County Advisory Board. At our meeting, we decided, well, we're here to ask. We feel there's a lot of pressure on the late hunts and the quality of our animals are really decreasing. We would like to see